Hello, Henning Pauli here. What do I usually say? Oh, yeah, channel's HP42. Welcome. Today we're gonna get very metaphysical and hoity-toity about reality. Because I'm gonna try to explain to you why reality isn't real. I'm sorry. It's just, I don't even have a bottom line solution for you. I'm just gonna tell you how shit things are. Yeah, but in an interesting way. Stay, please. Nothing political. Wait. Actually, no. Shit on all sides. Before we talk about shit on all sides, here's something good if you want to play a really, really nice guitar. You're gonna go to the Fellowship of Acoustics in Holland, in the Netherlands, in Demsumswaard, over there, close to the German border. The most ridiculous shop ever in a tiny little town. You're only gonna go to that town for that. And they have probably one of the most impressive acoustic departments in this old plantation-style home that you've ever seen. And an electric department that is looking for a rival. Wow. Amp-wise, basics, nice, boutique, but not too much. Pedals, that's not where you go there. They are a guitar shop, and they have guitars that you can't play anywhere else, and you definitely can't play them unsupervised. But there you go. You pick up a Nikuba from the wall, or a Collings, or an Eggle, or anything you want, and play it as much as you want. Nobody's checking on you. You grab a 20,000 euro acoustic off the wall and play it, and you will have the experience of, this is a guitar I want, or you don't. But at least then you know. It's a beautiful day out with the friends, with the family. There's a beautiful park behind it. Bring the dogs, walk them. It's a great place, and you should check it out. Okay, reality. I was pretty shocked the other day because I was looking through reviews. For some reason, I got stuck on a review of an album I did. And that again reminded me of how unreliable any kind of media is. And look, we're not talking about, and we are talking about, but we're not talking about, Fox News versus CNN. We all know that they have biases, which is fine. Watch whatever you want, but don't believe a thing they say. Don't believe a thing Fox News says, and don't believe a thing CNN says. I watch my news on where I want to watch them, and I do believe it, which is wrong. But I also kind of take it with a grain of salt because of things I've experienced in my life. Now, this review we're gonna get to, but let me roll back to how easy some of the trusted high-end news media gets things wrong. Things that are so easy to get right, it's ridiculous. Factual things, not up for debate things, factual things. Now, one of my best friends lived with me in my apartment in Boston when I was at Berkeley. I'm gonna say it was 1998, maybe 1999, something like that. Must have been 98. And I got a call from the police station. It was for her. And her mother was brutally murdered. After that, we had Thanksgiving together with the family and her dad, who then, after that, was arrested for her murder. Which I think he did not commit, but that's beside the point. It was a big case in Boston, big. And the Boston Globe or the Boston Herald, which are both big newspapers, right, in the area. Front page news was that they seized his computer and they found porn on it. Well, obviously he's guilty because he looked at titties. Aren't we all? Which is all fine. They talked about him being a pervert because he had porn on his computer. That alone, ridiculous. But that's a propaganda, that's jumping to conclusions, whatever. But that's not a fact. They can write that. A fact are the 3 kids their ages and their names. That's easy, right? There are 3 kids. This is the front page article on a big Boston newspaper. One of the 2 big ones. I think Boston Globe. And they got the names and the ages of the 3 kids wrong. And then you have to ask yourself, because you're kind of not in the middle of a case, but very, very adjacent, literally in the next room to the case. You ask yourself, if they're getting things wrong that are very, very, very easy to verify, like the names of the kids, you can't believe anything in this article. None of it is verifiable. None of it could be true if they don't get the names right. And when you have things written about you, you see more and more and more of this. Now, I had many, many, many reviews written about my albums. There was a bit of a drama with Sebastian Bach and rights and whatever, and how things were spun and how the press was spinning this. And all of a sudden, this album I did with him was his solo album. It was never his solo album. He got a lot of money to sing on it, and that's it. It's my album. I wrote it completely, and he was paid to replace tracks that already were there. But the press wouldn't have that. They wrote the story they wanted to write. And all the fanboys of the Bach, they of course had to believe that because it's said in the press. But that's matters of opinion, right? It's not what actually happened. Some things are easy, like the names, right? Like names. But what about this review that I was talking about? So this is for an album called Psychic for Radio. So I read this review, and let me tell you what happened. It's the owner of the label that I was signed under. He wanted to do his own project. And he literally sent me little keyboard ideas. We're talking like 2 measures. Sometimes it was, here's a D chord and here's a C chord. I wrote a song. And no, you didn't. I mean the most simple little snippets, and he's like, I wrote a song. Okay, fine. Pay me for it. And then he did. He paid me to develop these ideas. They weren't even ideas. They were a little keyboard melody or a riff. They were the most simple things you can imagine, but okay, I did. And on that album, there were some guest artists. On one song, please remember this, on one song, Mark Zonder from Fate's Warning played drums. One song. Mark Zonder from Fate's Warning played drums on one song. All the other drums I programmed myself. There was a flute player, there was a piano player on another song, so that song had flute and piano by someone. And each song had a guest vocalist. But I'm going to say 80%, let's say 80. 80% of the arrangements were mine, more like 85. 80% of the instruments I played. Drums, bass, keyboards, drums were programmed, all the guitars, based off a tiny little idea, which I incorporated somewhere, then wrote the whole rest of the song. But I'm on this thing as an instrumentalist and writer, I'm going to say for about 80%. So in this review, the vocalists are mentioned. The head of the label was mentioned as this is his project, which was fine, right? Totally fine. Mark Zonder is mentioned as the drummer for the whole thing. To know that that's not true, as a reviewer, all you would have to do is read the liner notes. Go into the booklet, which you had in front of you, and check out where he played. Because each song, of course, had credits, right? And to find out that Mark Zonder didn't play on each song, all that it would require is for that reviewer to go in and do their fucking job and literally just figure it out. But all of a sudden in that review, Mark Zonder played drums on everything. This guy played the flute. Everyone in that review got their credit. I'm not bitter about this, I just think it's fucking funny. And the guy who wrote it, produced it, mixed it, mastered it, performed most of the instruments, not a single mention of me. Which again, I find more funny than insulting. But that really reiterates the fact that you can't believe shit. You can't believe shit. This is in times before AI. Now visual AI you can kind of tell, right? Video AI, now, there's really just no way to know. With AI music, who wrote it? Fuck if I know. I use AI music all the time. If you go and produce it like I do, and you actually put a band on it, and you get rid of all the AI, but the idea, the initial idea was AI, you have no idea. So what's the point? Reality isn't real. We build our reality based on what people tell us. How do people know? Well, they know it from the newspaper. If a tiny little newspaper like the Boston Globe, that's a fucking big, reputable place, doesn't get the names of the kids right, how can you believe anything? If a reviewer on an album can't read the fucking liner notes and actually at least once mention the guy who's responsible for most of it, what's real anymore? I mean, we're not even talking about Facebook and Instagram and social media and everyone doing their own memes to influence you. We know that's happening. There are bot farms spewing out memes and little videos and AI crap to push you in a certain corner with your opinions. We know that's happening. I hope you know that's happening. But even reputable sources like the Boston Globe or a guy that just reviewed an album, they get things wrong. Not deliberately. Not this guy didn't get the review wrong because he tried to, tell me I suck or whatever. It's just mistakes. It's carelessness. It's not doing your job to the best of your abilities. Maybe they were the best of their abilities, but the point is, we build our view of the world based on hearsay, not based on you were there. When I see a news article on the news about something Trump did, I wasn't there. I have to believe it. I have to believe that those cameras were pointed at him. I have to believe that he actually said that. I have to believe that it's edited in a way that's truthful so that, a word like not or didn't isn't cut off so that I'm supposed to believe the wrong thing. But they were talking about deliberate misleading. But there's also just incompetence. Like Boston Globe with that article. Can't believe a single thing. If they didn't get the names of the kids right, you can't believe a single thing from a newspaper. Can't believe a single thing from the news, from social media, from a CD review. The world we build around ourselves is based on what people tell us. Let me be stupid. I mean, you might already think I am. I've never been to Australia. Based on what I just said, make your own observations. I don't know if Australia exists. I think it does. I see it on the globe. I've been taught it exists. I've seen movies from it. I hear people talk funny and they say it's an Australian accent. I have seen nature documentaries from Australia. So there's a lot of evidence to suggest it exists. Maybe we shouldn't be as crass to say, well, just because I haven't seen it with my own eyes, Australia doesn't exist. Okay. But at what point do we start getting critical? At what point do we start to question if things actually happened and how they happened? Now, everyone has an opinion on, I don't know, the things where ice killed people. And don't start commenting about it. I'm not going either way. I have my opinion, you've got yours. But we weren't there. Fighting about it is ridiculous. Whatever videos we've seen, yes, I built my opinion too. But based on what I just said, we can't know. What's the moral of the story? I don't have one. Should we go back to no media? I think we'd all be happier. Only know what happens around us in a small circle, in your town. Talk to people directly. Witness things directly. That way we're not arguing about it because we were all there. We didn't get an account of the news. We didn't get a picture, whatever that was, influenced by someone to then influence us. Which is, by the way, also what I'm doing. I'm filming pictures to influence people. But based on my observations of how easily someone can get things wrong that are blatantly out there as information, the names and the ages of kids, or who the fuck played what on an album. This isn't even up for debate. This is blatant facts. These people did this. It says it right here. It didn't make it over here because this person in the middle didn't do their job, which means the people over here reading this have no idea that I did even anything. They don't even know my name, which is fine. I don't give a shit. But the point is, this happens. So if this happens, what else happens? We can't believe anything. The only reality you should have is the reality that you observe around you. But of course, we can't, because if we do that, then Australia doesn't exist. I can't see the moon. The moon exists. You know what I'm trying to say? I have no solution for you. What can you believe? What can you not believe? I don't know. But be critical of anything. Even obvious things like a name or an age or a credit list. We know nothing. That's sad. This is a sad finish to the video. But it's a cautionary tale. Because I've read interviews with me, and you leave a sentence out. Not because you want to be an ass, but you leave a sentence out and all of a sudden, I'm the guy who said this. And there was just a big thing on the pedalboard forum where someone read an interview with me and all of a sudden I said, pedals are not in anymore and I'm willing that, when that's really not what I tried to say. It's not that the interviewer deliberately tried to mislead, but some people read it a certain way. If you had been in the room with me, observing directly, you probably would have gotten it. If not, you would have asked. We would have gotten to the point really quickly. And bam, all of a sudden I had to justify myself in a comment section, and do I wish I hadn't, because comment sections are just getting so on my nerves now. So, do as you please with that. Also, please subscribe to the newsletter. That really helps me. Once that fills up, I'm going to start sending some cool stuff out. Maybe we do giveaways, used gear sales. I tell you about new courses that are coming out. We've got cool new courses coming out, cool stuff. Thank you for all of that. I hope that was something you watched. Animals at the end.